Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Auxhart Gardening. I am filming this garden tour just a little bit early this week. It's still coming out on Wednesday, but I'm filming this on Sunday, and that's because tomorrow, Monday, I am having another procedure done for my health issues. If you want to hear more about that, I'm not going to discuss it here, but you can go back a couple of garden tours and I discuss kind of what's going on. After this, I'll be out for 4 or 5 days, which is why I'm filming early, but hopefully by next week I will be feeling better and able to do a normal garden tour. But if not, I apologize, but y'all know I'm always trying my best. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you. Today we are going to be looking at some of the plants that I just planted, as well as how everything is kind of developing in this transitional spring to summer type garden. I always start with this row here with the big long cattle panel trellis. Underneath the trellis we have garlic. Sorry, I almost said onions. This is definitely garlic. And then near it we have some tomatillos, and most of this is tomatoes. Everything seems to be looking really good. Tomatoes that I put in are putting on new growth. There's only a little bit of damage to some of the leaves as we go up and down the row, but nothing too detrimental. I think every single plant that I transplanted is still alive, which is honestly pretty good. When you're transplanting like 20 something plants, to have all of them live is a pretty big accomplishment. And it's another reason that I recommend planting more than just one of each type of plant, because there's always a chance that something weird is going to happen to one of them, and if that's your only one, then you're kind of SOL. These ones down here on the very end have been chewed on more than the rest, but they're still making new leaves. I don't see much damage on the new leaves, so I'm hoping that whatever chewed this has moved on and this can go ahead and grow in peace for the meantime. I say that because there's always something else that comes along that wants to eat your tomatoes. Looking at the garlic, we've got really healthy big leaves on this garlic. It is a large variety of garlic, but it is not elephant garlic. It is Dixon Softneck from the Experimental Farm Network. And this is the size of my garlic. This is the size that I would expect like normal garlic to be. So you can see kind of side by side the massive difference in size. Although this is also Dixon Softneck, it just happens to be kind of a smaller one. Draco, buddy, what you doing? This second row is onions and a few other things. We've got a few lettuces here in the front. I was supposed to have a row of turnips here, but they died. So instead I put in more tomatillos. These are gonna get tomato cages eventually. And then we've got the row of radishes. These are looking good. I've been pulling some of the bigger rooted ones for salads. And if I don't get to harvest all of these for eating, that's fine. In a couple of weeks, I'm gonna need to pull these out anyway to make space for things like peppers and eggplant that are gonna go in. And then past that, I have potatoes. This side is purple potatoes, and then I have sarpomira over here. Somebody mentioned to me that I should be mounding these up by now. And actually, if you know the difference between determinate and indeterminate tomatoes, it's the same thing with potatoes. Some of them you can mound and some of them you can't. And these ones you actually can't. They're determinate. So they're going to put on just as many potatoes as they're going to, and mounding isn't really going to help. Meanwhile, I'm not actually sure about the sarpomira variety, so if you know, let me know. But I did not set them up to be mounded. And if you're new to gardening, all mounding means is adding more dirt around the base of the plant and kind of covering it as it grows up. Little cutie. Anyways, you would do that because it would stimulate the potato to grow more potatoes off of the sides that are covered with dirt. But as I said, that only works with indeterminate varieties of potato. Here on the third row, I have my peas on the insides of these trellises and onions and garlic on the outside. I have started to notice that you see that little bud right there? I think that is the start of a stalk that is going to be a flower that is then going to be a pea. So I think these are finally starting to flower. You can see here that teeny tiny dot. That's the beginning of it. You can see what I mean when we come over to one that's already flowered. You see this flower coming out of the stem right here where the leaves split off. And I do have my first pea right here, which is almost ready to harvest. And then past the trellises are the fava beans. I've noticed that these are starting to put on flowers. That's what these groups of things are right here. So we are on track for a fava bean harvest as well. So then looking at this last row, we've got a mix of onions and lettuces, a random volunteer sunflower that is actually getting quite huge. Let's see, there's spinaches in here. We've got Merlot lettuce, black-seeded Simpson. I think this one is outrageous lettuce, Marvel of Four Seasons. And then as we go down further here, we've got a Brussels sprout that I really wasn't expecting to be alive, but here it is. And then we've got a Brussels sprout that has gone to seed and a little patch of poppies. Some of these onions are already looking very bulbous. We've still got like another month or so before I would think they'd be ready to harvest. But they're already looking pretty good. I still haven't planted my blueberry bushes. I'm starting to wonder if I should, since they have set fruit. Any of you who have experience with blueberries can let me know if I should wait or try to transplant immediately out of these pots. Coming over here to look at the raised bed, I just noticed that my lavender is starting to put on little buds. So I'm going to have lavender flowers very soon. I've got coriander flowers, which are otherwise known as cilantro flowers. And the sage is also trying to make flowers. I've also got my thyme, which is flowering beautifully. The carrots that I planted in this container are looking pretty good, better than any carrots that I've planted in ground in my garden at least. And then these 3 pots are different kinds of mint. We have catnip, licorice mint, and peppermint. And then in this other raised bed, oh, Kata, not for you. In this last raised bed, I just put out a little bit of chamomile, and this was parsley. It got eaten, but it's trying to recover. I've got kale, some chives, lettuces up here, and then down over here, a lemon thyme. Looking at the berry patch, here is where I would put one of those blueberries, and probably over here is where I would put the other. This one has just been really sad looking for a long time. I might try and dig it out and save it and put it in a pot, but I'm not sure if it's gonna do very well no matter what I do with it. I've also started harvesting strawberries off of these, and so far the biggest pest eating them has been pill bugs, roly-polies. Like this right here, that looks like roly-poly damage to me, which isn't so bad. The holes that they leave, like, I mean, it's not very pretty to look at, but it doesn't make this any less edible, you know? I'm gonna come through and pick some of these. Some of them I'll pull a little early just because of my procedure tomorrow. I'm not gonna be able to come through for a couple of days at least. This one looks really nice. I should probably have a basket, but I don't. And then the rest of this is looking really good. I don't see any really large developing blackberries yet, but all of these are baby blackberries. And similar with the raspberries, we've got a bunch of little like pollinated flowers that are just starting to make little berry shaped things. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. Talk about my cat sitting in my plants, and each one of them has its own plant that it's sitting on. These are not cat beds, guys. What are you doing? No wonder I have trouble growing things. Now I can't blame them, dropped a strawberry, can't blame them too much because this one that Kate is eating right now, this one is actually catnip, so that's kind of what it's for. Are you enjoying your garden snack? Oh. Alrighty guys, that's it. That's all I've got for you today. If you want to go binge other garden tours, I'm going to leave this playlist up here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy gardening.